Welcome back to Beast Machines Monday. Shh. Monkey Business is sleeping right now. Do we have a Monkey Business?
Optimus right there.
He looks like Rhinox.
Kinda. I am Decepticon Doug.
And I, Predacon Paul. Today's episode
Is called Survivor.
But before we get into that, I need to present Sir Douglas von Decepticon with this prestigious award. Prestigious? Prestigious? Prestigious.
Prestigious?
Doug, for all those times that you were the guy,
I was a guy, wasn't I?
for all the things that you said that you said to tell him,
And then I told them, and then I told people to tell them. Thank you so much. I just want to thank my cats, Charles and Rosa, for giving me hugs and.
they've been there for you this entire time.
And
Allie, take notes.
and I want to thank my mom for giving birth to me, because that's something that happened a long time ago. And most of all, I want to thank all the shiny naked men out there who modeled to make this award possible.
And all the naked men who they shrunk and then encased in gold.
You know, he could have died in this process, but if he survived it, he could be very well preserved.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Paul.
No worries, man.
That's beautiful.
I was in LA, picked that up for him. It says Hollywood. Best friend.
I'd love to go to LA, actually.
It's awful.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm asking, what the hell am I doing drinking in LA?
So this episode's called Survivor.
And I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait to see who gets voted off of Cybertron at the end of this one. You know, we love in this circle, timely references. We are on top
Timely references. Timely references. This episode starts with Megatron. That's his name?
Yes, Megatron, the big guy.
The big guy with the attitude problem.
Yeah, he's really growly.
Is getting, I guess, a probing exam from 343 Guilty Spark, or Jarvis.
Yeah, I think we're pretty consistently calling him Jarvis.
Jarvis is like, I say, it's stuck right up your ass, isn't it, Megatron? And he's like, "Oh, get it out!
Get it out, it hurts. Well, then you shouldn't have put it up there in the first place.
So I just sat down.
Jarvis is trying to purge Megatron of his beast mode, because, that's what he's been trying to do for ages now. So he's like, well, we could have a look at, what's his nuts?
Starscream.
The Nightscream, the bat guy, because somehow he got a beast mode without any organic life form on Cybertron.
Yeah.
How did he do that? That's crazy. He's like, I think that we should capture Nightwing
Alive.
and then study him to figure out how he did this process, because if we can reverse engineer it,
Yeah, which isn't convoluted at all.
we can turn you into a full robot man.
Without the dragon.
Just like C-3PO. Big fan of the OG trilogy, says, yes, that is exactly who I want to model myself after, is the indestructible, unstoppable C-3PO.
Will be destroyed for sure. I've got to rest before I fall apart. I don't think I can make it. I'm done for.
In a very anime moment, Megatron was like, Jetstorm thrust, Tankor.
And everyone's like, what's up?
And then they're like right there. They're just right there.
Happened to be in the same room,
Yeah,
probably
it's-
playing cards.
They're like, what's up, dude? And he's like, go get the bat. You know, they're all like, yes, sir, except for Tankor, who's just kind of standing there like,
Staring at him.
and then he turns around and goes off to do what he's doing, and Megatron's like, that's a little off.
And he just like slowly lumbers away. Kind of like, clean my room. Tell me to clean my room. Clean your room. Go outside and play. He's like rumbling away.
So in the Maximal base, Rat Trap is tinkering around in the back of Nightscream's head because they want to upload some of his memories like they did with Rhinox because they were trying to fill in the gaps of what happened on Cybertron.
They're in his brain.
Yeah.
They're scrambling around and they're like, ooh, there's not much in here.
And he's like, you know, I just want to think about the future. I don't like thinking about the past. And Optimus is like, but the seeds of the future lie buried in the past.
And he's like, yeah? Well, who lost the Beast Wars? And then Rat Trap is all like, hey, I lost friends there. Cheetor's all like, bam. He's like, hey, cool it, Rat. We're all friends here.
And you know who they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about Rat Trap's good friend, close and personal friend, who he forever treasures, Depth Charge.
Still smells like fish.
Rat Trap is like, well, here's some seeds of the past, and he brings out a literal seed. Apparently he's been holding on to since the tree episode.
We're going to have to go back and watch it and see if he actually scoops it up and
I guess so. Ooh. Well, that'll come out whole in about 8 hours.
And then Optimus is like, see? Seeds of the past.
Didn't realize the seeds of the past was really this literal. These are literal seeds of the past.
So then they're going to go back to the site of the tree.
Right.
Because that's where they found the seed of the past.
Yes, indeed.
Because the Oracle said, take everything I say literally. They go there and there's a barrier in the way. And they decide to push it.
Yeah.
Good old maximal teamwork.
Yeah, which doesn't actually work, unfortunately. So they're kind of like tugging at it and pulling
I feel like
it.
they didn't even try.
It's like when they're trying to get into the Ark, and then Rhinox is trying to open the door, and I'm like, why doesn't everyone else join in? And again, come on, Rhinox, you can do it! You can do it!
It's like leaning back in their chair, drinking like a mojito, like, you got this, buddy!
You're gonna save time in all of existence.
Hey, where's my shrimp cocktail?
So I guess they at least learned a little bit from that, but not quite enough to give it the gusto it needs to push those things down. Although they have Nightscream who's gonna yell at it, because that works when you're a bat.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so angry I could just shout.
I feel alright.
And then he does, and that's enough to give away his position to the Viacons upstairs.
Because Jarvis is like homing in on the
Echolocation
signal that we just knew he was going to use.
It was very convenient. In case he's screaming, let's see if let's scan for the echolocation. Oh, there it is. Oh, great.
And
cool.
It's
just
literally right around the corner.
Hey, that's awesome. Wow, that was really easy. Considering they have this whole planet to roam around in, it's pretty awesome that they're just right there.
Yeah.
The Viacons show up. I don't even think they get into the place with the seeds. They never actually get in there, right?
And then
action sequence. Ding, 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 bam, 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 bam.
They put up a good fight. The Viacons show up and they say some witty things, and Black Arachnia has another moment with Silverbolt, and he's all like, oh.
Thrustabolt. And then, got some fancier moves from Tankor. He's doing some more strategic battling, like knocking them off and then shooting them while they're in the air. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. Good job, Tankor. We actually know why, though, already.
They get taken out and they wake up and Nightscream's in a stasis pod someplace getting dragged away. That doesn't make any sense. Why did they wake up at all?
It is very strange to me that the Viacons just saw all the Maximals unconscious there and they're like, shh, they're sleeping. Just grab Nightscream. Let's get out.
Well, you know what? The problem is they took their mission too literally.
Yeah, the mission was get Nightscream,
not eliminate Maximals. Mm-hmm. This is why you need objectives and you need sub-objectives. This is the objective. Sub-objective: take care of Optimus, take care of Cheetor, take care of Rat Trap.
And to take care of is like not nurture them back to health.
Oh, eliminate. There we go.
Yes.
You see him like dabbing a wet cloth on his forehead. It's like, here, drink this.
Here's to drink this.
It's like, why are you helping me? Oh, my mission is to take care of you.
It's like, wait, where am I? Oh, you're just here in
1985. Yes.
1985. So off the Viacons go with a backpack full of Nightscream. Jarvis is already doing some scans and looking at his insides and going like, this guy's really got some interesting things happening on the inside of him.
Too bad he's not transformed. And the Nightscream's like, that's it. You asked for it now. And then he transforms. He's like, oh, now I'm healing. Which I think this is the first time we find out that they heal in their robot modes.
Yeah, apparently robot mode heals them a lot faster than the beast mode, which is kind of the reverse of the way it was in Beast Wars.
Which, I mean, okay. I mean, I don't dislike it. I'm just sort of like, really?
I just don't understand. If both forms are techno-organic, why one benefits over the other? I don't know.
I can see why one benefits over the other in combat or in utility, like if you've got more tools, but really?
That explains why it took Optimus so long to recover when he reformatted Nightscream, and then he spent the rest of the time in beast mode because he wasn't healing to the rate that he could have been.
The fool.
Idiot.
And then Jarvis goes in the box with them, and then he's all like, hey, Jarvis. He's like, yes, sir? He's like, come here. He's like, yes. He's like, closer. Mm-hmm. He's like, whoa! He buries Jarvis, and then he just starts flying away.
And then Thrust and Jetstorm pursue, and they order Tankor, who they still think is Tankor up here.
Tankor!
To get Jarvis out of the rubble. They're gone, and then Tankor is like, well, actually, I'm Rhinox, ha ha ha.
So, Jarvis, would you like to hear my evil plan and why?
Well, I got nothing better to do. Why not?
Well, it turns out that not only is Megatron's plan an excellent plan because of the purity and machines without beasts. Good plan. Very good plan. There's two problems.
Oh, what are those problems?
Optimus.
Oh, yes.
He's a jerk.
I agree, 100%.
Megatron.
Not the Megatron.
He's a fool.
And he still, let's get real, he still has his beast mode.
He's still kind of...
That's a problem.
I will be the leader of the new Cybertron.
Now you're gonna do what I say. And he's like, but I can't. I'm programmed to follow Megatron's orders. That's all I know how to do. And Rhinox is like, well, that's interesting because I know how to fix that. And he brings out a little screwdriver, opens him up. He does this really funny sound. Oh my, or something like that, or...
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
And,
Although, to be fair, he did rip his face off.
he took his face off.
No more jokes for this guy.
Timely references, everybody. Super timely.
I'm scared, Sean. No, you're not. So then, Nightscream is all like, I'm surfing through the tunnels, and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch you.
Rat Trap turns into robot mode, or whatever we're calling robot mode these days, and he's like, oh, there's Nightscream over there. Problem
Like
solved.
30 feet away.
And they're like, oh, great, that's awesome. We don't have to go very far at all. Let's go get him. Naturally, this brings them to a battle with the Viacons.
Yeah, a hole forms because of explosions and stuff.
Because of explosions.
Because of kaplows. Nightscream falls in the hole. Optimus goes after him. Black Arachne's like, haha! And he's like, oh no, my fists. Whatever shall I do? He's like, they're free. And then he falls. And then she's like, Silverbolt, come to me. And he's like, and he almost squishes her. As all spiders should be squished.
Down in the catacombs, we do see a skeleton of a bat. And Nightscream's like, this is totally where I got my beast form from, is this bat right here. It's gotta be this one.
This enormous person-sized
It's really a very big bat.
bat.
It's a huge bat. You get those Cybertronian bats. Huge.
Huge.
And then Optimus is like, hey, now we know stuff. The seeds of the future lie buried in the past.
If it wasn't for you finding this bat, you'd be dead. And he's like, you're right. I'm a bad person.
I am responsible for the death of everybody.
Because I ran and hid while we were all getting annihilated.
And Optimus is like, yeah, you're horrible. And I hate you, and everyone hates you.
If you couldn't tell, the fans hate you.
And I think that you should just stay buried under here, you big stupid loser. Anyways, Jetstorm shows up. He's like, hey guys, I'm feeling really quippy. And then Nightscream, in all his fury, yells as loud as he can, I feel alright. Yeah. And everyone's like, whoa. And he blasts basically through a whole wall, and you see tons of fossilized bones. It implies that, there's a lot of organic life form that naturally occurred on Cybertron.
Yeah, there's a dinosaur.
And then Optimus is like, yes, the seeds of the future lie buried in the past.
So then Nightscream's all like, I knew it! This is my fault! Everyone is dead because they could have all taken all of these beast forms.
And even Optimus is like, don't you know you're being a little melodramatic?
Worst case scenario, you'd all be bats.
Yeah, just be a planet of bats.
There
And
you
then
go.
we watch a different show. It'd be called Bats Machines.
That'd be a pretty good show.
Then they're like, let's go back upstairs and just have a little maximal party. And they do. And then meanwhile, back at Megatron's base, the Citadel, Jarvis is like, well, Megatron, looks like things ain't gonna work. I can't fix you because I think deep down inside, you know you want to be a dragon. Remember, the dragon's wrath.
And he's like, we will never speak of that again.
And I'm gonna peace out of here.
Then he goes on his little walkie-talkie visual thing, talks to Rhinox, and he's like, so I told him that it didn't work even though it was gonna work. Exactly like he told me to, Your Eminence.
And Rhinox is like, sweet.
Because I found the Oracle.
Yeah, he went downstairs.
He's like, what's in this room? And it's just like, it's like Oracle, but it's like crossed out.
He's like, not
Oracle.
He's like, well, I think that maybe there is actually an Oracle in here.
Oh, look, an Oracle.
Woo! I'm still dressing.
He's like, my apologies.
Yeah, Rhinox has got the Oracle, guys. That's bad news.
Well, how?
I'm assuming.
Like, in what way is this terrible for anybody?
I guess I don't know. I guess we'll have to see next time on how this is bad news.
If anything, this is great news. That means Rhinox is going to have an awakening experience with the Oracle.
The Oracle's like, hey, Rhinox, being bad is bad. What? Oh, no!
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies? And that's the end of the episode. So...
Okay, what worked for you, Decepticon Doug?
Well, I like the Rhinox stuff.
Let's talk about Rhinox.
Let's talk about the Rhinox stuff.
Number one, he's a rhino.
But not.
He's a rhino in disguise.
Actually, yeah, rhino in disguise.
What are rhinos except tanks of the beast world?
Yeah, no, I guess I can't argue with that.
It's friggin' straight facts. Bruh. Science and all that.
So the scene, I mean, you noted it as well. Very expository.
So expository.
In that, Rhinox basically says, like, listen to my plan. Listen to it now.
And why my plan.
And who my plan.
And where my plan. But Richard Newman's portrayal of Rhinox, I can't not enjoy the exposition. He's not playing it so evil.
Wow.
He's committed to his idea and why. And he's driven. And he just wants him to understand. Here's the thing, his voice, I've always loved Richard Newman's voice. As Rhinox, amazing.
He sounds more sinister, but it doesn't seem hammed up. It just is he's giving it a lot of gravitas.
Yeah. Even with the speech and his expository and as it is, and as much as I hate that, he lets it breathe. It's just this wonderful piece. I'm just like, yeah. That comes from experience, and that comes from him knowing his instrument as well. He's just phenomenal. So,
and in general, I just like how the Rhinox story does progress here. Like, it's a baby step. Okay, now you guys know who I am, to the audience.
Yeah.
And now it's time to unveil where my character is gonna go. It's like I'm not just gonna be Tankor. I'm not just gonna be one of the Viacons falling under Megatron's order. I'm going to take over.
What I think is interesting about it as well is we've already established that he's not a Maximal and he's not a Predacon. He's somewhere in the middle. It's his choice to remain a Viacon, and it's his choice to ally with Megatron, but not out of some sort of fealty to Megatron. It's because it's a means to the end the end result that he wants to see. And if that means controlling absolutely everyone, then so be it. Getting rid of all our beast modes, then so be it. And I feel like when he tells Jarvis that he will never not have a use for him, and he's being gentle with him, even though he's already programmed him to do anything he wants, and he'll do it. That's his function. He's reprogrammed him, and even after that, he's still gentle and just wants there to be peace on the planet. That's it. But he wants to be the ruler, and whether that means that he's got delusions of grandeur and he's a megalomaniac, I don't know. I do like how the only one of either camp who can ever actually land a hit in any appreciable way, well, besides Rhinox when he got that one shot off, is Black Arachnia. And she's not even using guns. She's throwing webs at people like, yeah. And she's like hitting them and they're like, ugh, and they're like falling and stuff. And like, she's like webbing their hands so it disables their guns for a second or two. Buys them time. She's the MVP all the way. Whenever there's a fight, she's always the one kicking the most ass.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Why doesn't she tell Optimus that's Silverbolt?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she's keeping it a secret, especially since they know that Tankor is Rhinox. So like, why not just say, by the way, I've got a sneaky suspicion Thrust is Silverbolt. honestly, like, there's only two major aspects of this episode because it does go by pretty fast. There's the Rhinox stuff, and then there's the Nightscream stuff.
Yeah.
And the Nightscream stuff, how much you like it depends on, I guess, how much you really like him as a character.
Here's the thing about Nightscream. Generally, I don't like him.
Okay.
I think he's too much of a try-hard. He's trying to vote people off the island. It's like, hey, you just got here, man. No. Essentially, he's just very immature. But this episode, for me, redeemed him.
Okay.
Because I can see why he's so jaded. I understand. He's not angry with everyone else. He's angry at himself. He's deflecting that onto everyone else. And that's actually a very deep psychological thing. He's traumatized by the events that happened on Cybertron.
And he feels like he could have done more.
Yeah. The other Maximals weren't there and witnessed their friends and family all being completely annihilated by Megatron and his virus, and then being mercilessly hunted down by the hordes and hordes of Viacons. And all he could do was just run and just fend for himself, which was probably the only reason why he survived. But he's got survivor's guilt, A, and B, he's got guilt because he felt like he left everyone, which is part of survivor's guilt, I guess, to die. That's a terrible thing to live with. And so to me, the fact that we're exploring that in kind of a childish kind of a way, like, it seems kind of resolved too quickly. His argument didn't really make sense in the way it was presented, but I get it.
You get the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
The emotional core, it makes sense.
Yeah, and now I go, okay. And everything that he's doing to be a jerk to all the other Maximals, I think is just a way of keeping everyone at a distance so that way he doesn't hurt them too.
You don't gotta like him, but you can understand him.
Yeah.
Anything you didn't like?
There's a couple things that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Megatron.
Yeah?
What are they doing with him?
Yeah, I feel like Megatron's character arc is a little stalled.
He's kind of just about the dragon.
Because the last 3 episodes he was barely in it. I think he was only in like flashbacks. And then before that he was still doing he's like, I don't like my beast mode. And now he's still kind of in that mode of just wanting to purge his beast modes. So I feel like his story right now is stalled. It will go places soon enough, but in the meantime, it's a little tedious.
I like that this episode had a lot more personal stakes, because those are the only stakes really that exist right now. All the sparks are safely tucked away in Megatron's cathedral thing. Mm-hmm. They're safe, and we've already established that we can just stick him in another bot, and thank goodness this person's 100%. It's just whether you let the spark program the body or whether you already have a pre-programmed thing in there to block the old memories, that's another discussion, but they're safe. What's even going on anymore? And I don't feel like
and the Viacons are more or less kind of like they're there and they will fight the Maximals, but it's always basically
they never hit anyone.
They will always fight until they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And that's basically where it's at.
In Beast Wars, people get hit all the time. Chunks of their body are like gnarled and like missing. Like how many times do they get shot? How many times do they get eye lasered or whatever? It's brutal. And I get that they were going for something different in this one. But maybe the reason why the Viacons can't seem to hit anybody is because deep down on a very subconscious level, they don't want to hurt their friends. In the Vietnam War, when they were training Marines and soldiers, and they were shooting at the Viet Cong, a lot of the soldiers...
Vietcons.
Apparently, and I saw this in a movie somewhere, but apparently as they're shooting, they would always shoot above because they didn't want to kill anyone. They weren't aware that they were doing it. They were aiming, but they were like...
I mean, most of them were... there's a certain point where a lot of them were...
Conscripted,
and they just weren't... They weren't voluntary soldiers, so... Yeah. That actually kind of makes sense.
So, like, maybe these particular Viacons are maybe pulling the punches a little bit. Like, they'll sit there and talk smack all they want, but deep down, because their heart is Maximal still, maybe they're just pulling the punches.
Interesting. There's a theory.
That'd be an interesting thing to explore. Mm-hmm. Which they won't.
No, I don't think so. But but that's why we're here. We're doing the exploring for them. That is our gift to you. Yeah, I don't know if I have any major complaints about the episode. I feel like it's just sort of, it kind of goes through some of the similar motions as other episodes about running and chasing, and I like the personal stuff and the baby steps toward the bigger story. I think that generally works.
So the one thing that I don't like about this, I have no personal connection to Cybertron at all. I don't feel any type of connection to the environment, and whether they're digging through caves or running through the city or running through the sewers, it all looks the same. There's this thing that they do visually where I know they're trying to make it look like they're moving at Mach 2 or whatever, but all of a sudden everything turns into this tunnel of like just white and blue light just flashing.
It's very anime.
And then all of a sudden he's in front of him and he's transforming, and then it's like pew pew pew, but I don't know, it just to me doesn't do anything for me. Somebody might like that artistic choice. Maybe he likes it, I don't know. But for me, it doesn't work. When I was a kid, I always wanted to see Cybertron. Like, oh, I can't wait to see Cybertron. Yeah, Cybertron. And you'd see like glimpses of it, in Cheetor's Dream or...
Mm-hmm. One of the problems is that this probably comes a lot down to technological limitations. Ultimately, it's hard to like fully realize entirely huge maps and just the...
They did it with Beast Wars.
Yes, but one of the things was that you could kind of extrapolate from real life. And we had a connection to it because it was, it was Earth. Even before we knew it was Earth, it was basically Earth. I understand where you're coming from. This isn't the most idealized vision of Cybertron. It's a little bit too samey and pristine.
Which I think is the point. It's supposed to be this sterile environment, and the Maximals are just that little bit of bacteria that just won't scrub away.
Ah, yeah, true. I guess, yeah.
I don't like it, but I understand them utilizing it in that way.
So, after very little deliberation, we have decided to give Survivor 3.5 out of 5 bat skeletons. So not amazing, but also, not a waste of time. It is moving things along slowly. I think it was a pretty good episode for a little bit of character development and a little bit of plot development and a little bit of shooting over each other's heads.
What did you think of the seeds of the Survivor series?
Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode or any episode of Beast Machines.
Thanks for watching.
And don't forget.
As always, tag them on. Hold that thought. Thank you. Whoa, hold it. Hey, put it back.